Why, hello everybody, Spencer here, also known as ScreenSpeak, and in today's video, this is my Matthew Vaughn movies ranked. So, without further ado, let's rank. Alright guys, so I got 8 movies here I'm ranking from Matthew Vaughn. Nothing crazy, so let's kick things off. No like producer credits or anything like that. He directed all 8 of these movies, and I believe I have finally watched movies from like Matthew Vaughn's every single movie that he's done up to this point in time. So with that said, we're starting things off with The King's Man, and this is a movie that didn't really interest me, and by the end of it, I was like, okay, cool. Good job, Matthew Vaughn. You made that movie. It's like a prequel movie, but also there's another movie on this list, which is like a prequel meta movie, which I'll get more into later. But this movie was like, yeah, you know, let's set that up. Like let's do like a old movie. You know, it's kind of like what they're doing with that movie Wonder. You know, from like 2017, now they're doing another one. It's like the sequel part 2, but it's like, let's dive into that origin world. It's very weird. I don't know what, it's like a white bird, but this feels, I don't know what they're doing with the Wonder movie, but this is like, I don't know, it felt like a downgrade. Now I know this is Sean Chandler, my one of my favorite YouTubers, his favorite Matthew Vaughn movie. I highly respect it. Or no, it's not. It's X-Men First Class. This is his second favorite. But to me, this is like, it almost left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, okay, we're a little done here. We're a little done here. But I don't know. There's some good action to be had. Maybe I need to give it a second rewatch. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I need to give it a second rewatch. But I just felt like the first time I watched it, like after the trailer, I was like, yeah, no. I'm like, now. Like the other 2 Kingsman movies that we'll get to later have both work on their own merits. This one, I felt like I was watching it going, I'm super lost. I understand it's supposed to be a prequel. Prequels are fine. Prequels and sequels are fine, whatever. This one just didn't catch my attention. I like action. It didn't catch my attention. But maybe I need to give it a re-watch. But, I don't know, there's just things about it that didn't give me like, ooh, yeah. But speaking of ooh, yeah, we're going to keep moving on. Number 7 on the list is Layer Cake. Now this, I watched 2 movies last night, like the next 2 here, I just watched yesterday. And this is one, I was like, alright, I'll watch these 2 new Matthew Vaughn movies that I haven't seen before to add to the list, to make this video. And I was just like, let's do it. And this is one for me that's like right above The King's Man. I think there's like a little bit of a gap here. Like again, I need to rewatch. I was just looking at the cast for The King's Man. We got Risa Fons as Rasputin, Harrison Dickinson, Damon Hansu, and Daniel Bruhl. But I'm like, man, that's a great cast. But anyway, I might need to rewatch The King's Man with my dad because maybe I'll get more out of it. But Layer Cake for me was one like, it was like right, like, there's like a little bit of a gap, but like not that much. I like the flavor in Layer Cake. I like the action that they bring to it. There's like some good moments in there, but it's not one that it stands out more than King's Man. Like I think that, like for me, as I've been saying, I need to rewatch King's Man, but I think that Layer Cake has more interesting stuff going on in it that I like, and it's more like of a conundrum going on, you know. And it has Tom Hardy in it. Daniel Craig is the main guy, but I think that by the end, I'm trying to think of like movies to compare it to, but there's just a lot of movies like this. But I like, it's like early James Bond, because like Daniel Craig's in it, and you know, you see him, and he's like also in Knives Out, but it's like, it's so good. Such a good type of film, like detective movie with a little bit of action in it. It's also like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, like an early, like Matthew Vaughn that did Lock, Stock for Guy Ritchie, but it has that flavor of Lock, Stock with the older type feel, with the old grainy, like old time, like not old timey, but like yellow setting with, you know, action. With Matthew Vaughn action. So that's what I'm comparing it to. It's a little bit lower on the list, but it's definitely a little bit higher than Kingsman, but not both deserve a rewatch. But this, I think Kingsman deserves a rewatch, but I'm sure that's where this list will stand for me. It'll still be the same, but Kingsman deserves a rewatch, so that's where I'm at. All right, number 6 on this list is Stardust. Now I gotta tell you, there's a pretty big gap between Layer Cake and Stardust. And the reason for that is this is one I would watch again. Wow, by the end I kind of got some tears in my eyes. But by the end, like, this is one that I would watch with my mom or my family, to be quite honest with you. I like the cast. I love the cast, dude. You got like young Henry Cavill, young Charlie Cox, and just a slew, Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer, Ricky Gervais. Just good cast in there. And maybe a couple other people in there as well. Mark Strong as one of the bad guys. It's really good. My camera's battery's low. Charging my camera while I'm recording. That's fun. Anyway, I got all situated. It's all good. So, like I said, the cast is great, and there's a gap between, because, like, when I watched this before Layer Cake, and I wish I watched it after. It doesn't really matter, but this is such a good movie. I finished this, I was, like, watching it, and then dead on, I watched right after this, like, it was 9 o'clock, then I went to watch the Penguin finale, so I'm doing a lot of stuff this week. It's great. I'm on a holiday. It's fine. So, I did that. I mean, I watched this, and I love the fantasy world. It's like, there's like these 3 old women. It's like Hocus Pocus meets Willow meets Narnia, because they're like going to a different world, almost like traveling through the wardrobe. It was like, I love this. It's so good, and it's like there's a romance behind it, and the romance behind it is great. Finding the mother in the end is great. Seeing young Charlie Cox do all this stuff, all this action stuff is great. All this swordsman, then learning how to fence, then getting back at Henry Cavill in the end. All of it's phenomenal. And I loved it so much. There's a big gap between Layer Cake and this, but that's how I place it on the list. And for me, it's worth the time to watch. Like, I was like debating on watching it and like even including it in this list. I'm so glad that I did watch it. And I'm like, oh, am I even going to enjoy it? It's pretty low on the list, but I wasn't expecting to like it that much. I had a great time with it. I was invested with the story. That said, it comes in at number 6. So let's move on. Next up, we have Argylle. Now, Argylle is one that's a little bit tough because many people don't like it. As well, you can see 33% here don't like it, and 71% do like it on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, that's the critic rating and then the audience rating. And I am more with the audience. I like this movie. I think there's some stuff that's a little weak. For me, personally, I like the spy genre, so I like that. Stardust really worked for me, but this in particular is like one that I like from Matthew Vaughn. And this to me really I shouldn't say that, I shouldn't signify. But like when I went to see this with my friends, I was like, this is so cool. Like, this is a cool cast. I'm liking what's going on here. And many people, like John Camp, I think he said, like, how does the ice skates work on the oil? It didn't take me out of it. Like, I was just suspending disbelief a little bit. I wasn't even thinking about that, but I just suspended disbelief when I watched that. I just had a great time with the cast and, you know, what was going on. I feel like it's a little bit confusing with the whole book thing and everything, but other than that, I just laughed at the movie. I just had a good time with it. It was kind of dumb fun for the spy genre, but that's what I like. I like this movie a little bit more than like the Venom movies and what was going on in Venom 3. And another thing, as I said about The King's Man, is like they had the bar called The King's Man, and at the end of the end credit scene, I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird, but kind of cool, like kind of cool meta tie-in. So I don't know what that exactly means, but it's cool. And then they set up like book 1 at the end. So I don't know if we're getting real books. We're getting another movie. It's book 2. I don't know what that means, but I love this movie. I had a good time with it. Love is a strong word, but I love Stardust and I love Argylle. So sue me, okay? Okay. Just wanted to make that clear. So I liked Argylle. I liked is a better word, but you know what I mean. Let's get on with it. All right, number 4, we got Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I know this is probably most people's worst, least favorite, like, Kingsman or Matthew Vaughn movie. But for me, I like this one, okay? I mean, it has a 50 audience, and it has a higher audience and critic than, well, does it have Does it have a higher audience than... I don't know. But, I mean, it has Taron Egerton, it has Mark Strong, it has Pedro Pascal, it has Channing Tatum. So I like this cast. I like the one from Kingsman, The Kingsman, so maybe I have to watch that one again. But all these movies are fun, man. Sue me. Sue me for putting this at number 4, but I have to rank them somehow. My list isn't the right list, as Sean Chandler says. It's just my list, so I want to hear yours. But, I don't know, man. I'm a Kingsman. I've lost all my energy now. I was drinking some water and I do some stuff. But I watched this, and I watched the first one with my parents. I think I might have watched this by myself. Dancing with myself. No, but I watched this and I'm like, okay. Like, I feel like this and the first one and the second one work nicely together in their own right because of Taron Egerton's character. The Kingsman is interesting as a prequel. Like I said, I need to watch it again to maybe fully understand it. But I don't feel like it has the character motives. Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, we're setting this up. Like, in Star Wars prequels, like, oh, we're setting this up for Anakin of do. This feels like a companion piece to Secret Service. I might be wrong. I mean, I could be wrong about the Kingsman. But to me, this just fits. It just fits as a sequel. It's not the best sequel by any stretch of the imagination, but it has its flaws, but it has good action, has good characters, and I like the cast. So, for me, it comes in at number 4. So, let's go on. Please don't sue me. Number 3 is Kingsman, The Secret Service. Ooh. But this one has the same... Oh, it has Sofia Boutella, who is also in Atomic Blonde. But I forgot about that. Mark Strong's back, who was in Stardust, who was in The Golden Circle. So we got similar cast here with Colin Firth bringing in Taron Egerton. So I like that. Like I said, it feels like the first one's the introductory. We got 75% here and 84% for critic and audience. But I don't think there's anything bad to say here. I mean, lots of people like this movie, but I feel like this one and the second one go hand in hand a little bit with, the cast, the chemistry, all that. But this one, you're being introduced to everybody, and I feel like that you get a great introduction to this world and to this spy espionage world. Like, what's the crime, comedy, action? There's a good bit of comedy in here as well. I haven't seen this one in a while. Like I said, the last one I saw was The Kingsman, which is down at the very, very bottom for me. But, yeah, so, Kingsman, I have not seen this one and the second one in quite some time. But I know that, where I'm placing them, this is number 3 for me. It has a great action, a great story, and you're being introduced to these characters, so I feel like, for me, it suits the needs to be at number 3. But, yeah, I mean, number 2, this and the second one, fit hand in hand, so that's just me. I could be completely wrong. I'm not wrong. It's my list, so nobody's wrong with this. You might feel different about it, so let me know in the comments below. Alright, number 2, we have X-Men First Class. Now, this is one I wrestled with, and I know many people are going to be screaming at their screens, what? It's not number 1. That's okay, though. For me, it depends on the day, but for me, I'm a big superhero fan, but the top 2 Matthew Vaughn movies are both superhero movies, so it came really close. I wrestled with it, but I came to an agreement that this was number 2. This is my favorite X-Men movie. It is. I know for all you diehard Days of Future Past fans out there, I'm sorry, but this is definitely my favorite X-Men movie because it's Matthew Vaughn and because of the direction that he went with this. It's so good. I love the soundtrack by Henry Jackman. Don't get me wrong. The theme they use in Days of Future Past and X-Men Apocalypse it's really good. That that one is really good. But this has a great X-Men theme, has a great theme that they use for Magneto. It's awesome. I listened to it so many times. But the way they end it... but by the way, can we just acknowledge Emma Frost's outfit, by the way? I don't know if you can see her in that, but look her up. She's gorgeous. But also Mystique. Maybe Emma Frost and Mystique should be doing it sometime. I don't know. Just ignore that. I have some problems. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, but Kevin Bacon in this, I love how they had like Kevin Bacon being abducted in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. It was like, oh look, meta, look, he was in Marvel one time, so it's like cameo, like multiverse thing, and then just the interactions behind Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy as Professor X and Magneto really come together. They really show their origin. It's so good, and it like I watched this again, like I watched this with my dad growing up, like this because this came out in 2011. I watched it when like he was showing me Marvel movies and the X-Men, and I was like, wow, this is cool. And then I watched it again like after COVID, like 2021 to 22 or something like that. And I was like, man, this is even better than when I watched. Like, it's so good, even better than the first time I watched it with him. Because I'd forgotten many things, and I didn't quite understand like the new cast, and I didn't understand Days of Future Past at first either. So I was rewatching that one too. Both films felt better because I was doing an X-Men kick during 2020, and I was like, wow, I rewatched this one, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse. I think, yeah, all during 2020, and it just was so good. But this is my favorite X-Men film. Great job, Matthew Vaughn, and I just love him for it. I just love that he was able to do this, bring his own style. He was gonna do Days of Future Past until Fox and the studio was like, you got to do this, and he's like, I'm out. He didn't want it. He didn't want people rooting in his vision. I don't think it was going to be like Joker 2, but I think he just didn't like what he was going for. So I appreciate that he got his vision out there with X-Men First Class. It's my second favorite. It's my second pick, so let's go to my number one. And my number one Matthew Vaughn movie, my favorite Matthew Vaughn movie, is Kick-Ass. And it is literally a kick-ass movie. It's so good. It's a superhero movie that it kind of turns this on its head a little bit. You know, it's like Batman-inspired character with, you know, a Batgirl type character called Hit Girl and Big Daddy, Nick Cage and Chloe Grace Moretz, and we got Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I think his probably breakout role, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he's pretty young here, and I watched this like, well, damn, like 2 Quicksilvers. You got Aaron Taylor Johnson, Evan Peters, Clark, whatever his face is. Where is he in here? We got Mark Strong as the bad guy. Mark Strong in these Matthew Vaughn movies is crazy. Clark Duke and Christopher Mintz-Plasse is like the one, like, as the bad guy as Mark Strong's son, and it's so good seeing the connection here. The second one goes in a fun direction, but I feel bad for the second one because it's not done by Matthew Vaughn, and it just it saddens me a little bit because I watched the second one right after the first, and I was like, ooh, it's not good. It's funny. It's funny to laugh at, though, which is not a good thing. This one, though, the first Kick-Ass, is like, you're laughing at the comedy. It's comedy that you're laughing at. You're not laughing at the film, which is the second one, you're laughing at the film, which is a really bad sign. But, yeah, anyway. So, the first one has great action moments, has great comedy, has great moments that they set up, and I like the romance as well. Like, they have, you know, Kick-Ass end up with a girlfriend. I feel like that's all kind of done stuff, like all gone in the second one, but it's like, oh well. I definitely like this movie. I think it deserves a watch. Like, if you haven't seen the Kick-Ass, watch it. And also the theme at the beginning and the end, like the song at the beginning and the end, Stand Up by the Prodigy, is so good. I love that song. And also I like this song that they use, like the flying theme at the end when after Mark Strong is blown up by a bazooka, Red Mist, who is Christopher Mintz-Plasse character, Red Mist is running out with a sword to take down Kick-Ass, and I'm like, and then there's this flying music. It's so good. But I love everything about Kick-Ass. I'm definitely going to rewatch it probably this Friday because it deserves a rewatch in my opinion. I watched Layer Cake and Stardust, but I need to rewatch. I need to rewatch Kingsman, but I should do that with my dad. But Kick-Ass deserves a rewatch in my opinion. I rewatched Kick-Ass earlier this past summer. So, it was last fall that I watched it. Was it last fall? I don't know when I watched it. It might have been this summer. I think it was this summer. But But that's my ranking of all the Matthew Vaughn movies. Let me know what you think of this list down in the comment section below. I had a fun time making this video. I've done like 3 ranking videos all today, including my Penguin review, but I was on a holiday, so I had time to do it. And I'm excited to get these all out to you. So thank you so much for watching this ranking video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow me over at Boba Fett Jedi Master. Link is down below. And as always, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me. Don't forget to keep calm and watch the screen. Peace out, everyone. Bye.